How realistic is it to homeschool and work from home all at the same time without going nuts? Let's talk about it. What's going on, friends? Welcome to another video. If we don't know each other already, my name is Lauren. I'm a former teacher turned homeschooling mom in Texas, and I'm sharing today how I have navigated going from the classroom to transitioning working from home and also incorporating homeschool into my everyday life. Now, a very common misconception about homeschooling is that there is no way you can pretty much do anything other than just homeschool and stay at home with your kids. But I am here to squash that myth and present with you some very realistic options of your schedule or routine, and even some mindset changes that will help you. Let's be real, there are never enough hours in the day to complete all the things that we want to do. But when it comes to bringing in income and homeschooling and keeping the house and all of those things, there are ways that you can do that and also not lose your marbles, especially if you are considering homeschooling and working is the only thing holding you back from doing so. I'm going to insert a video that I've already shared with you guys talking about different ideas of jobs and categories that you may be interested in starting or even looking into if you haven't really dipped your toes into that pond yet. So go ahead and check that out if you're just starting off looking for opportunities that you could incorporate into your everyday while also homeschooling your kiddos. So I'm going to be linking that in the description as well if you want to go watch that after this video, or if you want to pop over there and then come back, that's cool too. So I have already shared different job ideas, so that's not necessarily what this video is going to be about, but I am going to share with you some different tidbits of how you can incorporate working into your everyday while also keeping up with a homeschooling schedule and having time to still enjoy your life, not working and homeschooling and spending, 12 to 16 hours a day doing those things. So I have created just a few different ideas, like mock schedule templates, that I want to share with you all. The first one is going to show you a traditional work schedule. So let's say that you have a job that you're working remotely and you are homeschooling also. So let's just pretend with me for a little bit that you start that job at 8 a.m. and you work until noon, and then you have an hour lunch. I feel like that's, enough time to make something short and sweet, or even if you prep something in the morning, eat and prepare lunch for your kiddos also, and then get back to work around 1 o'clock and work until 5 p.m. So that's like a traditional work schedule, and then homeschool in the evening. Remember that when you're homeschooling, that doesn't mean that your kids have to spend 6 to 8 hours learning and sitting down doing a task throughout the day as they would at a traditional school. It's not going to take you as long, and it's not going to require that amount of time. So if you homeschool in the evening when you get done with work, let's say that you have dinner right after, and then you knock out an hour to 2 hours of learning, or incorporate into your schedule activities and different things like that, depending on what your preference of homeschooling looks like, and then you finish out the rest of your night with all of your evening activities and getting the kids ready for bed and all of those things. So that is a very traditional work schedule, but I know that that's not what everyone's life looks like, so I'm gonna also share with you another example. The second example would be if you have a more flexible work schedule. Let's say that you have a job that requires you to get these tasks done within the day, but it's not as picky about when you're clocked in or when you're online or any of those things. Let's say that you're working in the morning chunk from 8 to 12, and then you have lunch with your kiddos, and then let's say that you tap into learning right in that time. So midday, your kids can work on activities or something independently in the morning, have their screen time while you're working and really focused in that, and then have a break in the middle of the day for lunch, incorporate their homeschooling learning activities, and then getting back to work from 3 to 7 p.m. So that still allows 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon/evening to have a full 8-hour work day. And then the late evenings are still open for you to have dinner and then tackle anything else around the house that you would need without it being too late. But that is another option to consider as well. And the third mock schedule idea that I put together for you would be a little bit different, but stay with me here. We're going to pretend that you have an hour in the morning. So let's say your kids get up with you in the morning, you have, a little snack. When you're learning at home, the possibilities are endless. So even eating breakfast while you're learning and knocking out the things that you need to be telling your children in order for them to complete activities, or if you're setting up and explaining the instructions of what's going to happen in an activity that they can do independently, this can take place during this hour. So let's imagine that from 8 to 9 o'clock, or even earlier to 9 o'clock before you clock in for work, that you are having those activities or even games for your kids that have to do with their learning. They're still getting in those hours, but you are also able to get them started on something before you start working. So you can knock that out in the morning, have a 3-hour block of work from 9 to 12, still keep your lunch from 12 to 1, and then wrap up work from 1 o'clock to 6 p.m. And that makes a little bit earlier of a difference for your evenings, depending on your preference. And that leads you right into dinner, and then you can knock out any extra learning after that before getting the kiddos ready for bed and having like some downtime for yourself, or knocking out anything around the house that you need to take care of. With homeschooling and with working from home, you are definitely left to your own devices and figuring things out, having your times all figured out, having your routines down, your schedule, whatever it may be. And of course, depending on your homeschooling style, this will vary a little bit, but I did want to share with you a very realistic schedule of mine and kind of what my day-to-day looks like. I tend to work sporadically. That not only helps for my attention and for how long I want to be spending sitting down in the office by myself versus interacting with my son, getting some things done. And so it's kind of a hodgepodge of different pieces of time throughout the day. So I'm going to plot my schedule up right here and kind of go through it with you as well. Just to give you an example, it doesn't have to be as traditional, especially if you have a job that does not require of you set specific hours, but more so we just need you to knock off everything that's on this list, or take care of your duties, check in on this and that, and then you're kind of free to handle those as you go throughout the day. So I've shared with you guys before that I am a night owl. I just work better once I have been up all day, can kind of like make my mental notes, or even in my notes app, add things in that I need to knock off for the end of the night. So I am constantly adding things to my to-do list, or even working like on Canva on different templates and activities for you guys, posting on my website, writing blog posts, and all of those things throughout the day. So whether I'm working on my phone or sitting right here at my computer and at my desk, it just varies from day to day. Although I will say that putting in a certain number of hours is not my goal. It's more so making sure that I have all of my to-dos taken care of, or at least have an action plan to tackle them later on or at a later date, whatever it may be. So I want you to take a look at this schedule and notice that there are little patches of 2-hour times. And yes, it's only 6 hours a day, but that's because, like I was saying, I kind of keep track and keep my action plans and different things like that as I go, so that when I do have that block of time, I'm in here, nose to the ground and focused on what I need to tackle, what I need to check off my list, get it done, and then get out type of thing. I don't want to be sitting down all day. I don't want to be sitting at a desk all day. That is a lot of the reason I got into teaching to begin with, but now I have even more freedom to do what I want to do, but you still have to have that discipline and tell yourself when it's time to, check off those things. You'll notice that I have different times patched out, and then part of our routine for the evening is playing, and that definitely is important for your young children's development. Take some time to kind of decompress yourself, play, pretend, all of those things. And then we also have some reading time in the afternoon. Now, reading aloud to your children is also very beneficial to them as well. So for us, that's something that is an absolute staple in our routine. And I included that in here because I do feel like that's very important to keep as part of my schedule. And so I did want to show you that after that, when it's bedtime and all of those things, then I come back to work so that I can have a little bit more of a quiet environment and a clearer mind. I come in and turn the lights off in here. I turn my little lamp on, and then I turn some music on or turn a video on and then get to it. And sometimes I'll stay up until midnight, 1 o'clock, sometimes even later, just to get those things done. And then that will vary throughout the week or throughout the month, depending on what I need to knock off on my list, what things I need to create, and all of those. So as you know, your schedule will vary, and you should just be flexible to it and open to it, especially if that means that you are spending more time at home with your babies and you're able to homeschool them. So I do want you to keep that in the forefront of your mind, your priorities and what is most important to you, because that is definitely what should be first, always. Now, I know when you're trying to focus on getting a task done, sometimes it seems a little difficult, maybe even unrealistic at times, when you're constantly being asked questions, or somebody needs a snack, or you need to go and fix the iPad, or whatever it may be. I would definitely recommend thinking of those things ahead of time and having a plan, and then creating those types of rules and guidelines with your children so that they can understand, this is my time to work and I need to really focus on this right now. So if you can handle this by yourself, or if you can ask brother or sister to help you before you come and ask me, that's great. You can even have snacks that are ready to go for your kiddos, that are easily accessible for them, so that they can be, very self-sufficient in that area. All of those different things will make it even easier for you to see the possibilities and opportunities available to you for staying at home and also generating income. Along with that will also be some activities that your kids can do very easily for themselves, or even have like kind of more busy work, but also helps them with their learning, books, activity books, word searches with different sight words in it even, or interactive learning videos. That is always something that will keep them engaged and entertained, and buy you a little bit more time if there's something that you need to finish up before you go and assist them. Planning and scheduling, you guys know that's my jam, but I did go ahead and create a resource that not only has been helpful for me in keeping homeschooling and working at home, all of my to-dos and things that I want to create or find a new solution for or an approach for, and that is a planner/journal. So this right here is available on Amazon. This is a planner/journal specifically for the working and homeschooling parent. I will show you guys like a little flip through of this, but it includes notes and charts and organizers and templates that will help you to really keep everything in one spot that you need to tackle on your to-do list, but also not lose your sanity or feel like you're drowning by any means. All in all, don't let your mindset or what society or our norms say deter you from fulfilling your wants and your desires for yourself and for your kids and your family. It is very possible to have a schedule that allows for you to work at home and also homeschool your kids. So I know that you will find something that works for you. I hope that these tips have been very helpful in finding that solution, or opening your eyes a little bit to the opportunities and possibilities of making both things work harmoniously for you. If you have any questions, be sure to comment them down below. I would love to help you with all of those things and figuring out something that works specifically for you and your situation. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one.